Most people described her the same way, always smiling. It didn't matter if it was Monday morning or late Friday evening. If the room felt heavy, she somehow made it lighter. Her name was Elena Brooks, and almost no one knew how much strength that smile was hiding. Elena was 38. She lived in a quiet suburb outside Portland, worked as a project coordinator at a mid-sized firm, reliable, organized, calm under pressure. At work, she was the person everyone leaned on. Deadlines slipping? Call Elena. Conflict in the team? Ask Elena to smooth it out. Need encouragement before a big presentation? Elena would say something steady and reassuring. She had a gift. She could make people feel safe, but safety is often built by people who learned to survive discomfort quietly. Her mornings started early, 5:45 a.m., coffee brewing before the sun fully rose, packing lunches, reviewing emails, mentally preparing for the day ahead. From the outside, her life looked balanced, but inside, she carried weight most people couldn't see. Not dramatic tragedy, not loud crisis, just years of quietly pushing through. 3 years ago, her husband's small business had failed. It wasn't reckless, it wasn't irresponsible, it just didn't work. And when it collapsed, the financial pressure shifted heavily onto Elena's shoulders. She never complained, she simply adjusted, took on more responsibilities, picked up freelance coordination work at night, reworked the budget, cut personal expenses. When friends asked how she was doing, she smiled. We're figuring it out. And technically, they were. But figuring it out can be exhausting. What most people didn't notice was how rarely she talked about herself. In conversations, she redirected. How's your project going? How are the kids? You must be excited about that promotion. She became a professional at holding space for others because focusing on others was easier than confronting her own quiet stress. And over time, that habit became identity. At work, a new manager joined the company, confident, direct, results-driven. In one team meeting, he said something that landed heavier than expected. I need people who don't just manage pressure, I need leaders who own the room. It wasn't criticism, but Elena felt something shift inside her. Had she been managing pressure instead of stepping into leadership? Had she been surviving instead of growing? That question followed her home. That evening, while reviewing spreadsheets at her kitchen table, she paused. She realized something uncomfortable. She had built a life around endurance, but endurance isn't the same as expansion. She was proud of how much she could handle, but she had quietly stopped asking what she wanted, and that awareness felt unfamiliar. A week later, something small happened. Her daughter asked her a simple question. Mom, why do you always say you're fine? She laughed softly. What do you mean? You say you're fine even when you look tired. Children see what adults hide. That moment stayed with her longer than she expected because she realized she wasn't modeling strength. She was modeling suppression. Strength doesn't mean silence. Strength doesn't mean carrying everything alone. Strength means facing reality clearly and still choosing to move forward. But she had confused smiling with resilience. She had confused endurance with empowerment, and that misunderstanding had quietly limited her. The shift didn't happen overnight. There was no dramatic confrontation, no explosive argument, just one decision. She scheduled a meeting with her new manager, not to complain, not to explain, but to ask for growth. I'd like to take on more strategic responsibilities, she said calmly. Her voice was steady, but inside she felt exposed. He looked surprised, but interested. Why now? He asked. She paused. Because I'm capable of more than managing pressure. That was the first time she had said that out loud, and saying it changed something. Over the next few months, Elena began stepping forward, volunteering for high-visibility projects, presenting updates instead of sending emails, setting boundaries around overtime, delegating instead of absorbing. It wasn't easy. Some evenings, doubt resurfaced. Am I overreaching? What if I fail publicly? But she reminded herself, smiling through pain proved she was strong. Now she needed to prove she was bold. At home, she made smaller but equally important shifts. Instead of saying, I'm fine, she practiced honesty. I'm a little overwhelmed today. I need help with this. Can we talk about next month's budget together? Her husband listened more than she expected, because sometimes people don't step in, not because they don't care, but because they don't realize you need them to. Hidden strength can unintentionally hide need, and hiding need can isolate you. 6 months later, her company restructured teams again. This time, her name was mentioned in leadership conversations, not because she endured the most, but because she demonstrated initiative, because she showed visibility, because she stopped shrinking behind reliability. She was promoted to senior operations lead. The title mattered, but not as much as the transformation. The real change wasn't financial, it wasn't professional, it was internal. She no longer used her smile as armor, she used it as authenticity. There's a powerful difference. Armor protects you, authenticity expands you. For years, Elena survived quietly. Now, she participated intentionally. People still describe her the same way, always smiling. But now, that smile means something different. It's not covering pressure, it's reflecting confidence. Because hidden strength becomes life-changing when you allow it to be seen. Here's what most people misunderstand. The strongest individuals in the room are often the quietest, the ones who carry responsibility without applause, the ones who absorb stress without recognition. But strength isn't meant to remain hidden forever. It's meant to evolve. If you only endure, you survive. If you step forward, you lead. Elena didn't break down. She didn't collapse. She didn't explode. She adjusted, then elevated. And sometimes, that's the most powerful transformation of all. Not dramatic, not loud, just intentional. If you've been smiling through pressure, handling more than you admit, carrying responsibilities quietly, ask yourself, are you surviving or are you expanding? Because strength becomes life-changing when you allow it to be seen. If this story resonated with you, comment the word strength below. And if you want more stories that reveal the power hidden in ordinary lives, subscribe to Life Tales Studio, where quiet resilience turns into visible growth.